Hello, everybody. Hello, world. Hello, Philippines. This is again, I'm a singer, eternal voice. Welcome back to my YT channel. Okay, so we have a topic, the same topic yesterday. This is just a continuation regarding extraction. Oh my God. So I already prepared my problem right now. So I wrote in a notebook, a logbook notebook, something like this. Oh my God. Yes. Ito na mga kapatid. Okay. It's here. This is my one lab book for science problem solving. Okay. In the first page of this lab book will be the theories, principles, and concepts. Okay. Here. Okay. And then the last part will be the problem solving. It is one lab book. Okay. I wrote everything topics to topics here. Okay. It doesn't necessarily in order or as per topic wise, but it's mixed sometimes. If I have to solve ideal gas equation, related problems, thermodynamics like that, then I have to vlog on it, something like that. So I don't have to be organized because I don't have lesson plan to follow it. Okay, this is only vlogging and live streaming. There's no such rule to follow what topics you will be able to discuss. Okay, it's gonna be like that. Okay, guys, so this is okay, extraction problem, right? Okay, so the question goes like this. So I must write this first in a blank sheet of paper so that everybody can understand, right? And we should read first what is being asked so that we can analyze well. Because, okay, I will write first. Oh my God. Coffee for life. Oh my God. Oh, the packaging, it's wrapped with plastic. Okay, for extra, safety and so that it won't be exposed to the direct sunlight like that. So the packaging of this, the built is so so good and very sustainable. Oh, sustainable. Kaloka. Diba guys? Ang hirap naman. How to open this one? I need a scissor to do this, right? Or a knife. Wait a while, guys. Okay, before going further, welcome to my channel. This is again a singer, eternal voice, Sotero, YouTube content creator, small YouTuber, and a social media influencer. Wait for a while, guys. I have to open this. Oh my gosh. This is good. This is black. So more darker compared to the red, the green, something like that, right? So this is really good. Okay. Oh my gosh, very, very hard to open the plastic. Kaloka. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, ito na siya. Ta-da! Wow. Ta-da-da-da, ta-da-da-da, ta-da-da-da. Ito na. Tayo na sa magsikan. Tayo na mga kapatid. Simula na ang lahat. Go back to business. Okay. So the problem is gonna be like this. Okay. So there are, I must write first. Give me 5 minutes to write. Okay, there are, wow, there are very clear. There are 30 kilograms of solute. My gosh. In 100 liters. Okay. Of water. It's mentioned water again, but the solute is specified yet. Okay, let's see. Water. The weight of the solute, okay, that will be extracted, okay guys, by 35 liters, nakakaloka, of ether if the distribution coefficient denoted as M is equal to 4. S. Ganon. So this is the problem. Okay, guys, the problem. Take a look, take a look, take a look, take a look. Zoom in. All right. Zoom in, okay. There are 30 kilograms of solute in 100 liters of water. The weight of the solute that will be extracted by 35 liters of ether, if the distribution coefficient n is equal to 4, is something that is. So it's what is being asked is the weight of the solute. Okay, the weight of that will be extracted by 35 liters of ether, meaning the weight of the solute or the mass of a solute in the raffinate. Okay, something like that. Okay, you get the point? Something like that. So it's very clear that we need to have a liquid extraction that composed of the water and ether. Okay, so in this point in time, this is gonna be a different analysis compared to yesterday's problem solving, because yesterday's problem solving, it looks like 2 are in the feed and there are 2 also in the product. But this time it's gonna be like the other one is going on the right, and then after that, the other one is going to the left. So it's gonna be counterflow. Yes, counterflow, right? If the one got going to the right, another going to the left. Yesterday, going left, going right, all are like that, have the same streams direction. Okay. But the only difference yesterday and now, yesterday so many composition in the streams. Okay, and here only few. Okay, so more simplified compared to yesterday's problem. Okay, because we have the solute, organic solvent, and the water. Here it's only the solute and the water. So if we talk about the the simplicity of solving the problem is not difficult as it was yesterday. Okay. So how can we do this? So first we need to draw an extraction equipment, of course, right? Because you have an extraction process. Any vessel or whatever, name it. So many extraction vessels. Okay. We are concerned for the, what's being feed, what's going outside. We are not concerned for the type of extractor you have. Okay, we are not basing on if the extractor have a 100% overall efficiency. We are not concerned to that aspect. We are concerned only what goes in, what goes out in your extractor equipment or any other types of extractors, something like that. Okay, we are not concerned in the mechanical point of view. Okay, we are concerned with the physical processes involved and the amounts and the compositions involved in it also, so that you can determine how much extract you will be obtaining, and then how much also the raffinate you will be obtaining, something like that. Okay. Okay. So if the problem will say it will be raffinate and extract. Okay. Then the question is as simple as the bottom product and the overhead product, the distillate and the condensate. Ganon. So if you have an examination that is enumeration, okay, enumeration and identification and fill in the blanks. Okay, so there are a lot of types of questions, right? Fill in the blanks, multiple choice, definition, explanation, essay, problem solving, and multiple choice. Okay, most common is the multiple choice of all. It is applied all over the world because it's easy to manage regarding how to check in the computer rather than fill in the blanks. They say that it needs human being to check, especially the content of your answers with regards to the essay question. Okay, so it will give you 10 points, 50 points, 60 points. But in multiple choice, the computer, you will just feed the answer sheet, it will run to the machine, and it will process directly your score, something like that, right? Because it's highly computerized. That's why they make it also in multiple choice. Okay, though if it is multiple choice, still you are using problem solving way of getting the answers. It's still the same. You cannot get the answer if you will never solve. Okay, that's the only difference is you never show your solution. Okay, so for me it's fine. That's an advantage for me because when I solve, sometimes I'm very fast. Fast, and then I forgot something and I will erase like that. So I think if human being will check my papers, they will confused. So before they said the licensure examination is like that. Okay, show your solution. Okay, but for me, it's okay to really measure how good you are in solving problems. But for me, chance is if you like the how they solve the problems, they will give more points, right? If they state it clearly, beautiful grammar, beautiful English, it will add points and there's no erasures because human being only will check. So computerized is fair because the computer doesn't know who's this, like that. For example, I am the committee of electrical engineering. Okay, electrical engineers board examination nationwide. Then I am also a graduate of that particular school. There's a bias, really. You cannot deny for that. Even though you are selected as the organizers and the committee of that certain, engineering curriculum, some of the questions there are coming from your school, university. It was compiled in a database. So there's also a sort of a little bias if it is a show your solution. Really, because I am the president and the chairman of the University of the Philippines. Okay, then I am also the one who make questions on it. I'll put in the database. Of course, the style and the pattern of questions I'll make is more on the style of the UP. You get the point? And then there's a great percentage that you will pass because the method of presenting the problems is like their culture before. So there's an advantage, disadvantage for other schools, something like that. And especially if that is papers, they will see the name, okay, UP, like that. Of course, if you are a human being, will check. It could not be denied. There's a possibility you will give points, 10 points, 20 points. Though we are saying generally that it's fair, of course, because that is code of ethics. Okay, it's fair. You will say that in public, but internally there's bias within your heart because that is your alma mater. Of course, you will never say that to anybody else. It's in your heart only. So to avoid that, that's why for me, that's why it's better to do it in multiple choice in computer. So that is fair, right? Get the point? The computer will not know that, yeah, this is a graduate from CIT University, this is graduate of University of San Carlos, UP Los Baños, UP. They'll never, the computer has no heart and brain to distinguish who's this examinee from. Because that is technology, that's machine. Compared to human being, there's a bias in it. Okay, that if they will check, of course, they will give scores to those, especially if they know or whatever, right? Or his alma mater, something like that. Because in PRC, that is curriculum to curriculum, there's a chairman for this. Chairman in mechanical engineering, chairman in chemical engineering, chairman in electrical engineering. And then if they make questions, since they are a graduate from that school, the way they do the questioning is the pattern in their culture and way of method of doing the problem solving in their school. Normally, of course, because I am the graduate of that school. Okay? Though the topic is just the same all over the world, but the approach on how you present the problem is familiarized by those, alumni from that school or examiners from that school. It's just the same. But the way how you present the problem, murag mao-maura sa katong estudyante pa sila. Okay? Of course, kasi ang chairman taga dihae nga school. Muna yung mahitabo. So, alakansi ka itong, schools that doesn't have representative in the curriculum board organizers for that particular engineering curriculum. So, for me, pabor ko sa computerization checking of examination sheets rather than human being. Okay? To eliminate the bias. Get the point? Okay, even though all are multiple choice really, 120 items as far as I could remember. Yes. Okay, yes, 100 plus. And then in day one, I could still remember really. In day one, maro kaayo, okay, maro kay siya. Sobra siya sa 100, but to a certain question, 102 or 100 something like that, the instruction said, do not answer beyond 100. Really? Of course, I don't answer 100, 1 to something. Beyond another time, instruction is very clear. No, do not answer from 101 to 100 something. Really? Maybe there's a purpose for that. If you answer from 100 to 120, maybe you will fail directly because that is instruction. You get the point? So you should be clever enough and smart enough also for the instruction. Okay, madali jud ka la, eager ka mo solve. You are very eager to solve the problems and you are very willing. You studied a lot and you really want to have a good score. And the instruction said 101 to 110, leave these questions like that. Do not answer. I remember like that. Okay, and I stop even though there's still questions remaining. I think 10 to 15 or like ihunong ragod ko. Mo may instruction. So kato siya, bitik to siya, klaro kaayo, okay? So ang examinees that answers beyond 101 to 110, I think their scores will be deducted or they will be automatically flunked on the first day of the examination. That's my analysis on the disclaimer. That's only my interpretation. Okay, because what's the use of giving that instruction? Is to trick the students if you really follow instruction. Okay, because that is also one way of testing your mental ability. If you really understand what's going on of the endeavor that you are doing or the what things you will be able to pursue. Okay, so if there are instructions, you don't have to do beyond that, something like that. That's their, I think that's their philosophy out of that, or that's their ideology regarding that matter. Okay, nakainom yung ko ana. Sobra siya sa 100. Yeah. And then after that, do not answer blah blah blah, and then like that. And the last, nothing follows like that. Pwede to na siya gibutang sa 110, 111, siguro to kapin. Nothing follows. Most of the data, nothing follows. The last question in every examination, nothing follows. Meaning, if nothing follows, you will never answer anymore. You get the point? Nothing follows. Meaning, you don't have to answer, even if there are still questions after that nothing follows quotation at the last part of the question. That is a trick. Instruction really, okay? So magbantay po mo mga ina ha, okay? Not only for the solve lang yun, okay? Answer lang yun, lagi ka eager kaayo, nakakuun pag-estinan, okay, bright kaayo. So you should be careful also sometimes, okay? For the instructions, actual instructions delivered in the actual examination in the future. Because it will vary. It will vary. The style will vary every year. Okay, like that. Maybe another also will be there. In our previous examination before, there's a lot of none of the above. None of the above. A, B, C, D, E. All of the above, none of the above. Sometimes also in B, like A and C only, C and D only, and that B, none of the C, none of the above, E, all of the above. So if they put none of the above sometimes, that could mean there's also possibility that there's really an answer for the none of the above. Now, that is very crucial also. when you get an answer very close to the choices, mabuang ka gunahon na imo ba siyang in none of the above or dili. Okay? Take note. For example, if the answer there is choices, the answer is 0.15, and then the choices there is 0.17, 0.16, 0.1545, like to, dugkol ra kay ang choices. And then sa letter say, none of the above. So how can you do that? How can you manage that? So you will choose the none of the above because there's no exact value for that choices, and it's closer among the choices. So there's a purpose of that none of the above. Really, I have so many answers also none of the above before. Okay? And then, that's for problem solving. But for the theories, it's also sometimes to answer all of the above. Okay? For example, in general chemistry lectures, what are the factors that affect the solubility? Right? If you can remember general chemistry lecture, so lagyan mo na siya mga factors that will affect the solubility and expression of the concentration, right? In general chemistry lecture. So, samanto, solute, okay? Solute, solvent, okay? The adding of catalyst and the inhibitor, okay? Changing in temperature, mga ganon, di ba? So, klaro ka siya, all of the above. Okay? So, if this say nature of solute and nature of solvent, just the same with solute only. Okay? So, mamawarag na siya. Ay, kahadlo kami, wala na nature, solute rin gibutang dito, dili na to ni mo yasa kay wala ang word nature. Kalok. Okay? Okay. In general chemistry lecture, in the theory, it states there, what are the factors that affect solubility? The nature of solute, the nature of solvent, the influence of temperature, the adding and addition of catalyst and inhibitor. Okay? The insertion or addition of external pressure. Something like that. Those are factors that affect your concentration or solubility. But with the choices, it's only like that. Solute, solvent, no complete sentence, and you'll never answer that already. It's just the same. Okay? But that's also technique. To the point, solute, solvent, inhibitor, catalyst, and pressure. And then sanay ka sa katong pinatag-as. Okay, maulagi mong gi-memorize. Okay, dili na to nimo yung answer kay wala makompleto ang sentence. Dili siya nga na okay. Just troubleshoot the important term. Mauna na siya. Okay? Sa theory na siya. Okay? Get the point? And let's fill in the blanks. The blank of the solute, the blank of meaning ang answer nimo nature. But take note, in Webster Dictionary, there's a lot of definition of nature. Okay, sometimes it could be you could be saying also as the culture, the type, the kind, the behavior, the characteristic, the ability, okay, the method. That's under also nature. Okay, how you cope up, that's also nature. Okay, so there's a lot. So don't depend from the word alone nature ha. Mo siguro gitagak to sa question kay daghan mag-meaning ang nature. Charot! Ako ra. Okay? Muna siya nagtago, guys. Muna siya ang Le-Chatelier's principle. Okay? Sa general chemistry lecture ito, mga stresses. Charot. Stresses lang. Okay? Medyo ko kalimutan ang Le-Chatelier's principle, really. Okay? Balik ka. Okay. Now, we need to draw now. Kakaloka. Makonect man siya kay science man, di ba? Okay, so we have this like this. Okay. Illustration would help us to understand further in our analysis. Okay, then gonna be like that. And then arrows, put arrows to designate the direction of your flows and streams. Okay, something like that. So we have 30 kilogram of solute in 100 liters. What's this? Kilogram of solute in 100 liters. When you speak about grams per liter, what comes in your mind? Okay, as a science graduate or BS chemistry graduate or let us say chemical engineering graduate, what comes on your mind when you say kilograms per liter? What comes on your mind? It could be a solubility, it could be a density, or it could be a concentration, or it could be a mass fraction. What? You have to troubleshoot the unit. So kilogram per liter is obviously density because that's mass over liter. And be careful, that's not yet solubility. Since we know that extraction is a physical separation process based on solubilities and concentrations, something like that. So you should be, quick enough to distinguish the differences between the other, physical separation process. Okay, because there's a lot. Okay, something like that. 30 kilogram. Take note, guys, water. Okay. 30 kilograms solute, and the solute was not been mentioned. Okay, has not been mentioned. Okay, 30 kilogram. Basta solute lang din siya, mora din na siya. Okay. Okay. And sometimes it's very confusing, guys, because they create a question such like this, and then the solute is not specified, but the extract is specified as ether. This is an organic compound known as an ether. So there's also imbalance, right? Because once you reflect the real identity of your feed and your products, then you should also supposedly name the other. You get the point? It looks like very sometimes mixed up because there's no consistency in expression of your problem solving, in delivering the message of your problems. I'm not questioning, but I'm just telling that it's gonna be like that so that the examinees will not be confused. But again, you try to do it because their goal is to regulate the passers. You get the point? So, laktod pagkasulti, ilang gibot sa makakuha ra. Ana ba? Sa Bisaya, sa makakuha ra ni. Sa makakuha ra ni dao. Kung di mo pa, bahala mo. Total, amo man ni siya gi-regulate. Kung pila ra kabok ang magpasaron. Like that. So, di ba? Parang, it doesn't make sense. The other product is ether, and the other one is water, and solute only. We don't know what is that solute all about. Something like that, right? Okay. Okay, anyhow. Okay. We don't vary the problem because the answers also will vary. Okay. These things like this, we should be observant. Okay. And to be observant really is a quality of an attitude of an engineer or a scientist. We should be observant when we see the paragraph, the sentence in our technical problems that we will be facing in the future, especially that involve science and technical applications for mathematics. We need to think, oh, what's that like this, and something missing like that, and you should also investigate the units, and then if it is really consistent like that, and then somewhere along the way, you might have questioning also the problems. So that is wild imagination. Wild imagination also is the one of the characteristic of a scientist and an engineer. Okay, and you are not limiting only to this. You need to expound more out from the box. Okay, like this. If this is the problem and what is being asked is only one, I can still ask more out of this problem. So this way of or style of studying would help a lot, meaning you have to maximize and explore other quantities to be solved, because most of the students will stop here because this is only the one is being asked. But take note, this is not yet an examination in the future or a chemical engineer's examination or whatever. This is just study and receiving information. So you have your total control of your style of your study. So you can also extend by your own wild imagination. Oh, I could still ask another quantity so that I could learn more, like that. How about I will find also the density? What if I will also find the mass flow rate out of that? What if I will also find the bottom product, the overhead product? So I did limit it. Usar may kipangita, or sa answer. Okay, because this is not an examination. That you will only answer what is being asked. And this is not only a teacher's examination that question is to be answered. This is studying, receiving information, discussion so wide. You can do what you want in your wild imagination as long as it connects to the specific topic and discussion that you are dealing with at that moment. Okay? So, usa sana siya ka technique, because it will practice you to familiarize other quantities, and it practices you to think critically that there are still other formulas out of that, but we need to think of that because it really helps us to solve other quantities, not just that. Who knows in the future, still problems the same, but extended to another questions to be asked, then nga, because you are just only stopping to the normal, unusual, required that's being asked, the same as your problem solving that your teachers told us in the classroom instruction. You get the point? So you should not limit yourself in the classroom instruction. You should go out from the back and explore your whole time. You have the total control in studying. You will not limit yourself to what is being common and popular and always used by your instructors. Okay, go to the library and search more. There are other types of problems there related, but in a variation. Okay, meaning to say it is being varied for a little bit, and what is being asked is not the same as the usual sample problems, but your instructors deliver to the students, something like that. Okay, that's very clear. This is one way of teaching you guys to be resourceful, to have your own initiative, to explore additional knowledge and learning beyond the classroom instruction. Okay, muna siya may tabo. Okay, guys, it's not just passing the subject, but really we should learn that so that we can use it in our day-to-day life and we can apply that in the real world when we are now working in the future. Okay, something like that. Okay. For example, just like me, so I am in the OSH, and then all plants and processes involves chemical substances. It cannot be denied because all plants factories are delivering various products unless your products are services, not solid, liquid, and gas. What I mean, this is a logistics job, services job, communication job, IT job. This will not produce solid, liquid, gas products. But for the other plant industries, majority, 80%, will produce liquid, solid, and gas products to be sold globally or locally. What I mean, there are also companies that services only, supplying people. Their services, their product is just like that. No, no solid, no liquid, no gas. So like that. So if you are working in the products, producing products of different plants and industries, then you can apply. Just like me, for example, I am a chemical engineer. So I am, of course, I am really, shall I say, I am adroit to chemical substances. Adroit, sir. Adroit meaning I used to be to master of that certain specialization because I'm a chemical engineer. So of course I am, well versed for the chemical reactions involved, something like that. And there's a spill incident. Spill, S-P-I-L-L, and I know that is a crude oil, and I know the composition of the crude oil, and I know the chemical reactions of the crude oil. So I can easily have a very effective root cause analysis because I know the behavior and the characteristics of that crude oil, why it will leak, why it will flow in the ground. It's easy for me to, to comprehend and to interpret during the establishing of the root cause analysis, preventive measures. I'm not saying arrogant, but it can be easily if your course is related to that. For example, if the incident also is related to electricity, it's easy also for the electrical engineers to do that incident because that is also their specialization. Same story like that. Okay, so since that is a spill incident, chemical is heavy fuel oil incident, I can really understand what's going on. But for the people, the way how they handle, it looks like I'm struggling because that's already people. Okay, and I have to investigate what's happening. Okay, what's happening at this time, how they do that, but that's not related to chemicals already. Okay, right? That's for the people. So things like that, it should be used in the actual scenario. Okay, then if I'm just sleeping during my college years, then I will never know what are the physical properties of this fuel oil. Is this flammable? Is this toxic? Is this having a high thermal conductivity, something like that, or high diffusion coefficient? It is a non-Newtonian fluid or Newtonian fluid. It will go laminar flow or turbulent flow. So I don't have that an idea. Okay, because normally if the fluids will undergo leakages or it will flow to the ground, so it has the behavior, but either be laminar or turbulent. depends on the velocity of the flow when they fall to the ground. Okay, so things like that. Okay, so it would be an advantage for us if that are chemicals, because they're chemical engineers, something like that. So you know the point. So it's just like that. So the main purpose is not just only passing the subject, but passing it in order for us to learn to be used in our day-to-day life and to be used in the future in the actual real world in working. You get the point? So that's really, a sad mentality to majority of the students. They just study because they want to pass. No, it's not. Okay? You get the point? So you will learn, because learning is very important. It's not just on that year. You will forget that. That's why you are learning to gain your profession, to be used that in the future, to obtain the career path in the future, so that you will earn for a living, right? So you will never be productive if you don't know anything, because you just forget everything what you learn in school. Okay, this is not the actual application for the knowledge that we gain from the school, right? It's gonna be like that. Okay, going back to the topic. Oh my gosh, what's the time now? Tabihan ko sa... Okay, muna siya. So, kilogram of solute in 100 liters. Okay, 300 kilogram solute in 100 liters is something like that. So, 100 liters. Guys, there's no interruption. Wow. There's no interruption and obstruction and interference when this 30 kilogram of solute will go this extractor. So, it is expected under steady state flow or laminar flow that this 100 liters will also be 100 liters in the outer feed. Because, take note, the temperature has no influence here. Okay? The pressure has no influence here. If the temperature and the pressure, okay, and the number of moles, or shall we say the specific capacity or the energies are there, then it is not 100 liters anymore, because there's factors that affect the flow from inlet to outlet. That's why I could say only 100 liters going to the outlet, because as simple as that, there's no interference, there's no such reaction like that when this 30 kilograms solute go to your extractor. Okay, so take me to the problem. Wala siya tagbi mga temperature, mga pressure, mga volume, mga kinetic energy, viscosity, resistance, diffusion coefficient. Okay, mga ganun. Pero na siya distribution coefficient defined. What I mean, mga diffusion coefficient. This distribution coefficient is exclusive only for extraction ha. You get the point? Nanatay bagong coefficient. Distribution coefficient is exclusive for extraction physical separation process. Okay. Asa na niyo siya i-apply dito sa mga mass transfer, mga heat transfer, mga flow with flow, mga kaganan. Kaya siya na coefficient. Okay? Exclusive siya sa extraction topic when we meet this terms distribution coefficient. You get the point? Okay. Now, in the weight of the solute that will extracted by 35 liters. So, again, there's also a little confusion. Guys, tingnan ko sa una sa college, ako himay-mayo ng mga words. Really, okay? But maabtan lang dito sa oras usahay. Okay? So, take a look. The weight of the solute that will extracted, weight is correct, right? How about using mass? Weight is applicable precisely in gravitational force directed downward, because weight involves gravitational force. Okay, the Newton. And then it will use the acceleration due to gravity, because if you talk about weight, refers normally to downward direction and upward direction. You have an acceleration due to gravity. But some books or such like this, we use interchangeably the weight and the mass, even though the flow is horizontal. Nakakaloka. Okay? If the flow is horizontal, it is more precise to use mass. It's not weight. You got the point? Because your weight and mass will never be the same if you will go to the moon. Because there's a gravity. So that principle will be applied also supposedly in this topic. But they just equate weight and mass to be the same. But take note, weight is considering the gravitational energy. That's why force is equal to mass times acceleration. It could be directly stated as weight is equal to mass times acceleration due to gravity, because the weight and force will be just equal if the force will be directed downward in the second law of Isaac Newton, three laws of motions in physics. Okay, so how come? So, inon na yun? Defense. Pareho naman na siya, ma-interchangeably naman na gamit ang weight o ang lagi, pero naman dito yung pinakasakto. How about go on to the most precise and accurate, rather than using that is not really the accurate one. Sometimes also this, this thing makes also sometimes confused with the students at their pressure level or in their lower level, because that is the time that the instructors and mentors are feeding them new topics and their mind also are just empty. If they receive that for the first time, they will just keep that using in the next year, second year, and then the instructor did not emphasize that there's a difference between the weight and the mass with respect to the direction of the movement and the flow and the motion, and with respect to the acceleration due to gravity. The point, i-understood na nila nga ang weight o ang massa, sama ani nga problem, i-Engr siyang, a weight of the solute, actually, weight is not really the mass, it's not the same. But since they have, actually, it's not the same talaga, okay? But let's just assume that weight is just a mass here to make it safe, right? That's the purpose of the author of this paragraph. Again, gilibog ra pud gihapon because this is an examination. Okay? Because use lang gud permi pud ang mass. Okay? You get the point? And this is not directed downward man siya, kaya nga there's no such relevance with the weight and the mass. That's why gigamit gid niya ang weight instead of mass. You get the point? Diba? Ang direction, pataas, paubos, pa left, para mauro na siya permi ang mga flow, chuba. Bisag kita, yung anak mata permi, forward, backward, sideward, left, kung lakaw ta, diba? You get the point? Yung anak magkita permi niya, muliko. Kung muliko ka, ato sa left, ato sa right. So, ang imong kapainan sa mga direction, it's always like that, always forward. Bisan pag U-turn ka, niliko, agyapon ka na. Nibalik ragyapon ka. So meaning kasi either nibalik ka sa backward or other nibalik ka sa forward. So that's still under forward and backward and sideward and left and right. Okay? So the direction mainly is only four. Okay? Left, right, up, and down, or front and back. It depends on the orientation. If you use the 3D orientation, 3D in computer, so we have X, Y, and Z na talaga siya na parang animation. It's very difficult to trace the orientation nowadays through computer technology. Okay, then we cannot reverse the ground. Man God, ang ground is a flat surface, the planet Earth. Okay, so how can we make the ground vertical? No, it's not, right? So we will say front, back, equivalent as up, down, unless we will fly. Okay, so we will say human being will have a direction going up. No, it's not. Naturally, we'll never fly, right? Okay, so we are steady only because due also to gravity. Okay, so front, back, left, and right. Only like that always in our day-to-day life. Okay, incline ka na. Incline, pero part pa man yun na siya sa left pod. Diba? Could it be 90% from the left, 80% from the right? But still, it's under left and right also. Even though nag-incline ka, kang mulakaw ka ba, mudayabunan ka, kay kung ito ang daan. Mga dyan po na, kay under po na siya sa 90 degrees, 45 degrees, so bilog yan po na siya. Dito, i-compute yan po na mo siya. 80% from left, 40% from right, 30% from left, 50% from right. So, walang yapon, cover lang yan siya sa right and left. Or 40% from up, 80% from down. So, the four collegiate direction is only the left, right, okay, front, back, or up and down. Okay? Get the point? And we will avoid the up and down because we are human beings due to the gravity. Okay, unless we are an airplane, helicopter, like that will go to the sky. So that's a time we have a upward motion and downward motion. Okay? Ganan. Okay. Kani siya nga flow direction, left and right, pag siya ha. Left and right, left and right. Kahit sa distillation, most of siya ang up and down, up and down, up and down. Pero matingala ka, there's no gravity because there's a scientific assumption in there. Okay? Equimolar, under steady state, diba na siya, there's no heat loss, diba na siya, so na siya mga kuan ba, mga scientific assumption nga mo nang what cover dito ang gravity sa vapor, sa liquid. Okay? Ang distillation, guys, is always vertical. Okay? Nakita pa mong distillation horizontal? So it's not already a distillation. Distillation is always vertical, class. Okay? So here is always also horizontal. There's also vertical sometimes, but the design is varied. Okay, the varied. Okay? But I am sure distillation column is always vertical. Okay? I don't familiarize with extractor because I'm not working in the real field to see what's really extractor in the actual field. In the school, we have laboratory. I can see, but it is also different when you see that in actual, right? So you can relate if you see that in your naked eye, you visualize that in real practice and things. It's totally different. The theory and the actual practice is totally different. You can use your knowledge, but when you engage to that particular equipment is somewhat different na siya. But your theories and concepts will be helpful to be used in that particular equipment. Okay, something like that only. That's why we need to, to really see the condition of that particular equipment and check. Okay, the pressure gauge, the level of that fluid inside your tank or process vessel, the pressure gauge, and then the flow rate. Okay, flow rate could be expressed in mass per hour, even per hour, or volumetric flow rate. The velocity, the speed, velocity only, sorry. Okay, because velocity is considering the magnitude and the direction. Okay, and then you need also to consider the transmitters. Transmitters is under study of instrumentation, right? The pressure indicator transmitters. Temperature indicator transmitters, level transmitters, control valves. Ganun. Okay? And then we have the different valves, gate valves, ball valves, butterfly valves, check valves, pressure relief valves, safety valves, check valves. Ganon. You should know also the function of each valve. Okay? Though the mechanical engineer is expert to that, you should also know that because you are a chemical engineer, you know the substance that will go there, and you should also know how to operate manually the gate valve, the ball valve, blah, 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 chuba, chuchu, and on. So you will determine if it is used to control the flow, used only to reduce the flow, or like that. That is the coverage of fluid flow or fluid mechanics, and they're also the subject of momentum transfer. Okay, so that's part, but we are not focusing more on that. Okay, because that's not involved chemical reactions. Okay, but anyhow, so going back, itaas akong istorya sa akong extraction dito jud ko nagduwa sa akong bakbak. Okay, the study that extracted by 35 liters of ether in distribution coefficient is okay. Will be extracted by 35 liter of ether. So our 30 liter of ether is our organic solvent. Gosh. Okay, it's gonna be like that. Okay, so still 100 liter, and then this is 35 liters. Extracted by 35 liters. Okay, and then also here, ether manisha is also 35 liters. Okay, guys, the volume doesn't change, right? What's what's being changed is only the mass, something like that. Okay? Get the point? Oh, nakakaloka. Uy, may inom sa kong kapi, kapoy di ko yaw-yaw. Diba? Ano siya may tabok karong gayuna. Wow. Guys, if I were you, listening to me right now, especially if you are students right now, please prepare a logbook like this. Separate logbook apart from your subjects notebooks. You need to have a one logbook for the theory and one logbook for the problem solving. Okay? And then by the time study it like that, so imo siyang gamiton for future examinations, board examination. So habang first year college pa ka, imong hinahinay og suwat sa logbook. Okay? That would be a great preparation for you. Okay? I never do that in college, but if I were going back to college, I will do that. And it's too late. Okay, because I'm finished already. Okay, so if I were you, make a one logbook for all theories, principles, and concepts, and separate all the problem solvings from chemistry to higher chemical engineering subjects. And separate all the general engineering, another logbook, ha? Okay, ay isagol ang mga general engineering kay daghan man kay mga mathematics dito ato okay, mga kuan, calculus, like that, differential equations, advanced engineering mathematics, probability and statistics, ganun siya, algebra, trigonometry, okay, geometry. Apil po dito guys, general engineering ang mga strength of materials, and then engineering mechanics, and also electricity. Yes, electricity is not part of physical and chemical principles in our curriculum during engineers licensure examination. We put that in the general engineering. What I mean by general engineering is that that subject is applicable for all. Something like that. Okay? Except for sciences. But I think electricity is also part of sciences, right? But that's their coverage. Okay? But if I am the one who makes the question, I will include electricity or practical electricity in the physical and chemical principles, because there's a lot of topics in phychem or chemistry that involves electricity. First, electromagnetism, okay, electric field, mga ganon, electrochemistry, electrolysis, okay, like that. Sa physics, electric power, itong mga wats-wats, chuba-chucho, electric charge, mga ganun. So if I were the one who make the question, or if I will have the ability to be in their seat, I will separate the electrical topics or the practical electricity to the physical and chemical principles. Okay? The science good ang electricity, guys, really. The electrons flow. Electrons only is already a science. Really, electrons is a negatively charged ions. Okay, and there's an electron flow that is a negative. Okay, so the mass is 9.109 kilogram times 10 to the negative 31. Light particle ang electron in the outermost shell of the nucleus. So doon pa lang, chemistry, science na talaga ang electricity. Okay, so special siya, dapat ato siya sa mga physical and chemical principle sciences na cover. Isakto lang ko dito sa general engineering. Okay, so it's fine. Okay. And then the engineering mechanics, okay, also, because that is more on math, right? And strength of materials are also more in math, but there's a lot of physics in, in strength and in engineering mechanics, really. Okay, sa rin, puno-puno sa katagan sa mong tunan dito sa second day, sa third day, it's okay lang. Okay? Ganon po siya. Okay. Maglapot rin ako sa strength of materials. Di ko ganahan. Mapugos, di ko tuon. In fairness. Ganon siya. Okay. So, ato na ibutang diri itong mga equations. So, what comes to our mind in such case like this? So, this is highly specific. You know what's highly specific? Meaning the formulas are already there. Meaning it's already obtained. The derivation has been done. like that. And there's already a scientific law with equivalent equations and formulas that to be used. No need to derive again. Okay, because we need to derive again for the purpose of learning that kind of formula, where it come from. But in here, we need to solve na talaga siya. So, no need to question back where it come from. So, meaning to say, it is understood that you memorized already the formulas and equations pertaining to extraction. Something like that. Because the point is, you are not really the same with our course, then I have to teach you that these are the formulas to be used. Okay, because this is highly specific and adaptable and applied only for specifically chemical engineering, BS chemical engineering, or shall we say BS chemistry, related ng BS chemistry or chemical engineering, or it could be BS mechanical engineering, because there's also a lot of fluid flow in their subjects, fluid mechanics, thermodynamics, closer. Okay, mechanical engineering and chemical engineering are a little bit closer in some subjects. Okay, so like that. If they understand the equipment, they also understand the chemicals. Okay, and most of the equipment are dealing with chemicals, right? To produce the product. Asa pa ibutan to ang mga raw materials, ana sa equipment. So, not yung mechanical, yun nasa chemical. The point, there's a chemical engineer, there's also a mechanical engineer. May partner siya. Okay, then mutunga na yun ang electrical engineer. Okay, to connect the, the wires in order for the equipment to run, because some not run without electricity, something like that. Okay, so sila na tulong mo me. Okay, something like that. Okay, disclaimer ha, that would be only my interpretation. Isa kung so parang di ba ya, di na pirmi ang kuan. Okay, so para na ako, ang chemical engineer, electrical engineer, electronics, close sila. Okay, then layo sa nanang gamay ang electronics mo. Kami na sila if we talk about circuits, because there's a flow of electrons in the circuits or in the path. So we are expert on elementary particles. Chemical engineers are expert in elementary particles. Protons, electrons, neutrons, positrons. Amo na siyang isabihan sa tanan ang behavior ng mga electrons, chuba-chucho, ng mga light particle, light ray. So it's our expertise. That's why it could not be denied. Okay, makamaumian ang theory jud sa actual scenario. Okay, paano mo behave, ganan. Okay, ang mga electrons, protons, mga molecules, something like that. Okay, so man siya natabo karong hidayuna. Okay, going back. So memorize formulas are number 1. Okay, distribution coefficient denoted as M. Okay, but some books class, I remember when I was in college, this is expressed in letter K. But take note, letter K class have so many definitions. It could be an equilibrium constant. It could be a reaction quotient. It could be a Boltzmann constant. It could be a thermal conductivity, like that. And plus here, distribution coefficient, 5. So, all you have to do is to focus at present topic. Okay? If our topic is extraction, the K here is the distribution coefficient, or better choose another symbol or letter to signify and to designate that this is our distribution coefficient, so that we will not be confused with other constants in the chemistry, physical chemistry, and other unit operation subject that involves K's. Okay? Letter K. Ganun. So let's denote this as M, small letter M. And again, this is not a mass. Usually in chemistry also, and in unit operation M is also designated as mass. Okay, but just consider, yung naman yung kalusot sa akong i-let kay taga na siyang pariho. Alam ulit kong Z, layo na kaayo. Okay, so focus kong M. Wow. So muna itong distribution or small letter D. But small letter D is not applicable very soon. DT, DL. So that's also derivative in the differential calculus, right? dx, dl, dc, dt with respect to time. What is the derivative of this one considering the limits from this one to this one, right? This differential calculus. Okay, so I don't have to put letter D also. So I have to consider small letter A na bahala pa rin siya sa math. Okay? You got the point? Ano lang yun siya, guys. Okay. So, in this situation, okay, napuntaan eh. Di ba, na kay mass fraction? And then you also say weight fraction because you have mass fraction. You have also weight fraction. But take note in the problem, they use the term weight. So to be consistent, let's respect the problem by using weight fraction, not mass. Though the mass is accurate more compared to weight, but let's just consider as weight here because the problem says that it is weight, not the mass. Okay? We should not be cruel enough to fight and to object the paragraph or the words of the problems. Because it's not our main purpose. Our main purpose is to solve the answer only. Okay? You get the point? Oh, that's the point. Oh, gosh. Okay. So, distribution coefficient is equals to the weight of the solute in the raffinate. Okay. The weight of solute in the raffinate. Okay, ganun siya. So, this is equal to, okay, X. But before that, mag-let punta algebra. Ano ang ginasya from this? Let X, let Y, let X, let Y is our unknown quantities in algebraic expressions. We will get expression. Okay, something like that. So, ingana siya mo, let ka, di ba? So, atong analyzan ang atong streams. Okay. So, we let X as the weight of solute in your raffinate. Right? So, it's gonna be like, okay, it's gonna be like X. Let X, okay, let X is the weight of solute in your raffinate. Okay, it's gonna be X. Okay, now, supposedly I will let Y, right? But in here, I will never let Y because there's again a 30 kilogram here in the feed. It's known. You know, known? Known. There's no purpose of letting a Y. In fact, there's known. Okay, there's data to support the validity of the fact. So how? So it's irrelevant already if we will put a certain variable or letter to signify where in fact there's a value already. Something like that. That's the logic behind. Because we say we let X, supposedly we should also let for the other substance to make it fair. Right? But in here, we don't do that because there's known already the other quantity. Okay? That's why I told you it depends on the kind of problems you will be facing. Okay? Like that. With the point, class? Igutom na jud ko. Wow. In fairness. Kaloka. Okay, class. Ay, nako. Ang hirap kumita ng pera. Kaloka. Okay, guys, wait for a while. I'm still adjusting setting because I am my connection is stable. Please wait while we trying reconnecting you. There's a message and instruction prompted in my screen. Prompted. Wow. Kaloka. Okay. Okay, guys. Mudiretso na lang ta. Sige, mudiretso na lang ta. Uy, kapoy na sa kututulan. Char. Okay, M is equals to the weight of solute and the raffinate. So this is gonna be, so let X as the weight of solute in your raffinate and plus, okay, ganun siya chuba-chuchu. Okay, plus 30 is equal to 100, something like that. Okay, you get the point? You get the point, class. Okay, then therefore we can say, okay, we can say that X is equals to 100 minus 30. This is in terms of your feed. You get the point? Nakakaloka, di ba? And then you consider only the solute for this. These are all solute in your 100 liters of your feed. So it's going to be X plus 30 is equals to 100. Okay? Now, since you don't know your extract, something like that, solute on your extract, Because you know only the volume of your extract. You don't know the solute of your extract. It's in here. It's in here. Di ba? Ang atong extract, ipadulong siya dito. Okay? You don't know the solute of here. Okay? You got the point? But you have the solute of the feed. So what can we do this? Let X as the solute that flows through your extract. So it's gonna be, okay, X, charara. Okay, ganon. And then, since nag-X na kadiri, so of course, to avoid redundancy and duplication, you should be Y here. Since na siya given, ayaw pag by Y. Okay? So, X, Y, is it? What I mean, hindi mo siya ibutang diha nga Y, pero mag-solve ka diri ari nga na ay Y. Kaloka. Is equals to 30. So we can say Y is equals to 30 minus X. Marinig mo siyang solute in your extract. See? Solute in your feed, 30. Okay? Very clear. Solute in your raffinate is X, is unknown. And solute also in your extract is unknown. So supposedly this is Y. Since you have 30 here in the feed, you will say X plus Y is equals to 30, and your weight of solute in your extract will be equal to 30 minus X. Get the point? Di ba algebra kayo siya, no? Hinayupak. Charot! Nakakaloka. Okay, so this is 30 minus X. Okay. Now, guys, I saw a similar problem like this in YouTube. I think it was kanina ra nakita ko. Okay, so ingani gapon siya, but not the same flow. It's a parallel, I think so. Okay, and the expression of the units are just the same. Okay, now naminaw na jud ko niya. Okay, so he's also an engineer. Of course, I don't have to obstruct because he's also an engineer like me, right? It's very also insulting if like that. So, what he did, class, he said weight of the solute fraction, weight fraction of the solute, but he failed to point out the theory. He put letters in the denominator. If you put letters in the denominator, that is not fraction anymore. That is density, kilogram per liter. But he still used 100 in his denominator here, in here. Okay. Because I refer also other problem solving, the way how they do it, something like that. For example, there's a problem, I will solve first. And if you cannot understand why we don't have the same answer, I will go back how they get it, something like that. And then I found out something, I cannot I cannot say how can I say this, but it's inconsistent. Okay, so he said 30 minus X, there 25 minus X, something like that, but in here 30. Maura ko na mga given ko, pero ang flow lang balahi. Okay, kani siya counterflow, di ba? Di pa doon dito, di pa doon sa dito. Yan na ni sugat-sugat siya ba, di ba? Counterflow. Di ba man na siya English counterflow? Okay. Ang English nito, mass fraction of the solute in the raffinate over the mass fraction of solute in the extract. Now take note. When you say mass fraction, guys, your numerator and denominator is the same unit. Okay, then why he put the liters in the denominator and his numerator is in terms of kilogram? Okay, but anyway, he gets also the same answer, but only the way he carried the units is wrong. The way he discussed is wrong. Okay, that the delivery, the theories and concepts are wrong, but he is very good in solving. He failed to stress out that this is not applicable to that particular equation. Though nakuha niya, the answer is very intelligent. He like this. Okay, very intelligent, very smart in solving the problems, but he failed to stress out the theory and concept because he used liters in the denominator. In fact, if you speak about mass fraction, That's why it's called a fraction, because the numerator and the numerator has the same unit. Numerator and numerator is meaning nothing. That's why fraction. Nakakita mo fraction nga na unit. Okay? So pareho yun na siya dapat. Wala unit, ba? Okay, but he said, mass fraction na he put 30 minutes over 100 liter in the feed. And liter, imagine liter is a volume. It's not a kilogram, right? But never mind. Okay. So, ako na nawaya nakit, nasakpan rin ako ba? Okay. So, n is equals to, okay, this is the weight of the solute. So, supposedly, guys, this is also weight of the raffinate. Total weight of the raffinate. You get the point? So, it's not the volume of the raffinate. You get the point? So, this is 30 minus x over charara. Wait. Iras agad sa akin. Bukuan sa ako. Barok. Ganan. Okay. Okay. So, kay raffinate man siya over 100. Okay? Dun sa extract ni mo, bali siya. See, pag na-illustration, dali na kayo masaktan, di ba? Okay, nga siya guys, gamit yung kayong illustration. Okay, yung ko, di ba? I said a while ago, that is the weight of solute in the raffinate. And the raffinate, ay let x man siya. So this is gonna be x over 100. You get the point? Ganun siya. X over 100 and 30 minus x over 30, right? Ganon. So for the value of x, we have the distribution coefficient of 4. X, dali na kasulbo ng x. Okay? Because there's only one variable left. Okay? Linear gap on siya, algebraic expression. Okay, how can we solve this, guys? Oh my gosh, there's a lot of fraction, right? Press cross multiplication first. Okay? It's gonna be like rule of basic mathematics will apply in division. Actually, there are a lot of ways to do this. You can do the cross multiplication. You can do also the reciprocal method. Reciprocal. If you divide a fraction divided by a fraction, then the fraction in the denominator in the bottom part will you reverse that. That's also correct. But for me, I'm afraid for that. Maybe I will be wrong during my reverse Juba Chucho. So what I did, I will use my favorite, press cross multiplication. Mujin akong ganahan ng press cross multiplication. Okay? Like this. Put an X as the direction of your multiplication. Then put equal in the center. And so it's gonna be 4 times 30 minus x is equal to x over 100. Then therefore, distribution multiplication beside the parenthesis or the bracket. So this is gonna be 120 minus 4x over 30 is equal to x over 100. And again, second cross multiplication because it involves fraction. Okay, cross multiplication again. So we say that 100 times 120, how much is that? Calculator, please. Dealing with zeros, I have to put only 3 zeros. Okay, so 12, 1 to 3 zeros, automatic. Okay, then 4 times 100, add only 2 zeros. So 400. X is equal to 30x minus 12,000. The rule of algebra speaks that the same or similar quantity put together, and then before doing something, could it be a multiplication, division, subtraction, group together. Okay, so 400 minus 30, negative 400, sorry, negative 400 minus pila man siya? 370. Yes. Negative 370x then equal to, okay, nakakaluka. Okay, sakto yun siya. Negative 12 siya. Okay? Akong i-analyze na negative siya because this is dealing with figure. And you should not, there's no negative in here. The value of the x and y. Because this is numerical that there's no negative concentration. That's buried in your mind. Sometimes also, if that is not illogical, your brain cells are very quick to notice it. You know the point? Okay, since you are dealing with percentages, fractions, the first thing you have in your mind, there's no negative. Okay, so then somewhere along your solution, you obtain a negative, then correct it immediately, something like that. Okay, okay, that's instinct. Automatic na siya mo kalit ba? Okay, kalit na ka siyang mudiktal ba? Negative, na siya nga, that's case normal. And all people have this capability. Only developing this is the, the best thing to happen because some are not developing well. Okay, so it's like this: 12,000 0. Okay, ganon. So dinala ko siya matabang, guys, na i-multiply na, i-divide ako ang 12, itambang-tambang din na madas akong brain cells. I have to use the calculator. Diba? Hello, guys! Buhay pa ba kayo dyan? Are you still there? Kaloka. Okay. So, 12,000. Ganun. 400. Okay. So, 400 minus 30. That is negative. Kung pa man na siya, magamit niyo mong negative. Ini ka, cancel na siya, chupa-chuchu. Okay? So, 12,000 chararat divided by 430, 27.9. Your x will be 27.9. So this is your weight fraction of your solute in the raffinate. Okay, like that, 27.9. And now, you need to compute what is being asked in the problem is very easy. The weight of the solute in your extract, which we let that as y is equals to 30 minus x. Here. If you have the x, which is the weight of your solute in the raffinate, then bingo, you can solve for your weight of your solute in the extract in this equation here. Okay, subtract it directly a question. Okay, so 30 minus 27.9, okay, 30 minus 27.9, 2.1, 30 minus 27.9, 2.1, chuba chuchu. Okay, 2.1 kilogram. So we have 2 kilogram of solute in your extract here. And we have the weight of solute as x in your raffinate equal to 27.9. Now I may question you, Sir Sotero, why the weight of the raffinate is higher than the weight of the solute in the extract? Common sense. It goes back to the definition. Because raffinate, okay, raffinate contains more of the volume. Something like that, okay? And the extract should always be lesser. Okay, because that's referring to the solute. Okay, something like that. Of course, okay, more measures of fluid or liquid there, more on liquid. So that means, taas good kay siyang kuan. Diri gamay ra mo sa 2.1 ra ang extract. Usually ang extract mo gamay ra jud kay na siya for me. The extract will be lesser than your raffinate. Okay? You get the point? Because it is expected that in your liquid-liquid mixture that there are immiscibilities factor, meaning it will not completely dissolved, immiscible or insoluble, something. That's the main reason. That's why we have soluble region here, insoluble region here. For example, if we try to have in a binary mixture in liquid-liquid extraction, it's very easy to detect. But if you have a ternary, as far as I can remember, a ternary, what's this? I remember chemical engineering. Okay, it's a ternary extraction, liquid mixture, meaning three liquids involved, like an acetone, water, and shall I say trichloroethane. Okay, this water is dissolved in acetone. Or acetone will dissolve in water, reverse. Okay, and then this trichloroethane will dissolve in the acetone, and also acetone will dissolve in chloroethane. But chloroethane and water is not soluble with each other. Okay, so these factors really helps us to determine the percentages of these three. Drawing din kag mga anamurag ka ng kuan ato dito sa taas ang kuan pa siya. This is also the soluble region. Here will be insoluble region. Okay, and then at the time, if that point of the curve sa pinakataas, mato siya gitawag og plate point. Plait point. Di ba alam ang point na itong na-studian? Critical point, dew point, okay? Boiling point, melting point, freezing point, what else? Critical point. So, point, memorize also the definition so that you can understand what's that all about. Dew point, okay? Flammable point, fire point, flash point, critical point, boiling point, freezing point. Yung muna na siya yung daan where you are still in your first year college. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. How many points that this course have in your unit operations like that? Memorize everything about points. Because in the theory, it will come out. Lang is the okay, good, because there's a multiple choice. But what if there's no multiple choice? You will just guess. Ikaw, ganon. Okay, critical point. Nga. Okay? Napag triple point. Okay, where three pieces will meet with each other and will be same characteristics na talaga siya. The triple point will meet the heat of vaporization, the latent heat of vaporization, the latent heat of condensation, and the latent heat of fusion will be equal to meet on a certain point at a certain pressure and temperature. That is triple point. Something like that, okay? So that's an example. There's a lot of ways that memorize now as early as that. Okay? With the points of, so that in your second year college, master na kayo ka sa mga theories, ganyan. Okay? Yung mo na lang i-develop ng mga problem solving. Okay. Muna di kay ko nagkugrado when I was in college because our exams are more on problem solving. You get the point? Okay, did you get pag-as kayo, super nag-pag-as kayo, average lang high, ganun, or average, not really that high because the main reason for that, our examinations are always problem solving 60% up. Gamay ra kay theory ihatag sa engineering sa MUA. Basta mo gawas ang kung ano sa exam, gamay ra kay theory mo, guul jud ko. Really? And then when kung nasa yung mga theory ng mga concept, ng mga questions sa mga biochemical engineering, basta na tayo ma-perfect ko, okay? Basta theories lang talaga. Nandiyan kayo kung theories, okay? Principles, concepts, foundations. Pero kung problem ko na nga, bayang ko, okay, makakagyapon ko, pero not same as the, theories. Okay? Like that. And then, it's just a plus factor that during the engineer's examination, licensure examination, a lot of theories and principles comes out in the examination. There's only at least 20 to 30% problem solving. The rest are theories. So, di pa ko ato. Okay? Ganon. Okay? So, going back. Some people good in mathematics don't like memorization. Okay? They love to solve every time. And they don't like to memorize. If they want to memorize, they go very direct. They just determine the key point and then put in their brain cell. Very straightforward. Okay? because they don't like memorization. Some of the, super intelligent in mathematics, they don't love to memorize. But the opposite is that those who loves to memorize, most of them don't like mathematics too much and less ability in solving mathematics. Okay? The only advantage lang talaga, if you are good in memorization, at the same time, you have strong knowledge in English grammar or English communication, the way how you interpret the sentence, the terminology, the paragraph would help a lot. Okay? To understand kung maayong English. Masabtan ka mo sabot sa problema kahit dili ka bright in math. Okay? Mao na siya hinungdan. Okay? Dili taas mo fluence akong brain cells mabutang dayon suday nako na sometimes akong buhat laing term na maora sentence dito. Okay na pareho ra siya meaning ba pero dili pareho ang word for word. Okay? Yun siya. Mo may anak memorization technique di mo nimo iparehas ang terms. Okay? Good point. Okay. Time check brought to you by Powdered as Campbell. 96.3 W. Kaloka. Yes, nasolve na ito. O, diba? Saya special. Ganon. As easy as that. I could say it's easy. Muna to na, wala pa na ako na-justify mo. Katong engineer nga resolve nga sa yung interpretation. Provide ka siya math. Bright ka siya math. Akong iingkwa na yung ingon sa YouTube. Okay? Akong ako lang na-discover. Okay? Hindi kayo kumuktok. Okay? What? Okay. Anak siya. Okay. Anak siya. Mass fraction of solute in the extract will be equal to the mass solute in the raffinate. Ganun siya. Yeah. Fraction, kung nagamit siya of volume. Okay? Now, what I understand, because I found difficult at first, of course, because first you saw the, it's normal to say that it looks difficult, like especially if you don't encounter pa. Okay, you got the point? Because in his first introduction, he said these problems are not yet introduced in a classroom instruction, in the sample problems, in which it is true really. Okay, because I don't found that also kind of dito ra ta magduwa sa mga analysis. But ang iyang problem ba wala pa pareho sa kanang mga sample problems sa mga instructors before. Okay, but gidiscuss ang topic pero ang present the way how the problem presented is not the same as the sample problems that our instructors giving that before in our college. I agree. Okay, but when we discuss na grabe ka siya ka bright din grabe. Okay nga ako na notice when he substitute something wala niya matuki sa mga units. Okay, unya inconsistent man gud siya sa anak ka. Okay, daw nakuha nimo ang correct answer. Okay, but the way an audience, tanaw sa imuha, maglibog man po sila, though nakuha ni mo ang answer, di ba? So you have to justify, wag masag ko ni correct, oo, mapugugod. Okay? Okay pa lang? Okay, sige, ana siya. Substitute niya daan ang volume dito sa itong ingon siya nga, distribution coefficient is equal to the mass of the solute in the raffinate over the mass of solute in the extract. But he put volume in the denominator of the mass of the solute raffinate, something like that. Okay. Sa akong nasabtan, kay waterman siya, right? Sa akong nasabtan, waterman siya, di ba, pure substance. At 25 degrees Celsius, at standard conditions, okay, na siya density nga 1 kilogram per liter. Is that the point? Okay. Let's discuss a little bit. Density 1 kilogram per liter, which is equal to 1 gram per liter. Maximize ha. Okay, 1 gram per cubic centimeter. I maximize all the values of densities in different units. And we have also 3 pounds per cubic feet nga nasa akong brain cells. Upat ka buok nga units ang nasa akong brain cells karon. Okay, muna siya. Density, pero kani siya at 25 degrees Celsius at XTP at 0 atmosphere. Now we have 1 grams per ml, not grams, gram, singular. Okay, 1 gram per, napaka-articulate, gram per cubic centimeter, 1 kilogram per liter, and 62.43 pounds per cubic feet. Okay. Now, if you want to convert it in gallons, that's still density, right? Grams, like that, grams per gallons, okay? Like kilograms per gallons. You can still do that because 1 gallon is equals to 3.785 liters. Something like that, okay? That refers to US gallon. Okay. Now, you have this for density. Nag-substitute mo ni dito ang 100 liter dito. Okay, then it's not yet a mass. Okay, now, density is equals to mass over volume. Okay, so mass is equals to the density, which is 1 kilogram per liter times the 100 liters na itong feed na itong discuss dito. Okay, so cancel. Morning mo siya 100 kilogram. So it's not really 100 liter dapat ang ibutang dito sa denominator sayang mass of solute in the rafinate. That is 100 kilogram. So that ma-fraction siya kilogram over kilogram. You get the point? Because a fraction is a percentage by mass. The mass of the solute over the total mass of the mixture. Okay, or total mass of the solution. Ganon. And we have liquid-liquid mixture, meaning this liquid-liquid mixture is understood to be a feed, which is 100 kilogram. Because you are saying that it is water in your feed on the other end. Okay? It should be 100 kilogram. Dapat. Okay? Yan na naman kay 30 kilogram. Okay, na 1 in the water. So since that is also a water, so your 30 also is also a kilogram in terms of a mass. Kilogram naman din siya daan. Sa imong feed. As ito kong drawing, kaya naman siya na 30 kilogram of the feed, 100 liter of water. So ang 30 kilogram mo as is na siya dito sa imong mass of solute in the rafinate. Kato siya, mo naman sa ito yung gawas dito. Okay? So it's gonna be okay? You get the point? Muna siya nitabo. Okay? So, it's gonna be X over 100, which is 100 kilogram. So, ito pa, yung X na gilit dito, kilogram po ito siya. So, kilogram ito din siya liter ang 100. Pero yung isa siya dito, letters man siya. Klaro biya kayo obvious. Kinuha biya ka liter sa taas o sa ubos. So, dapat masakpan na dito nimo. Pero sige lang. Okay, bright education math. Muna yung importante. Okay? So, 30 minus X and then over 30 kilogram po siya. So, in short, kilogram ka na. That's why you have mass fractions. Okay, there's no mixture of grams, liter. If that is the case of density. Or density fraction. Okay, density fraction in the numerator and density fraction in your denominator is possible also, but we are dealing with mass fraction not in extraction, dealing with density fraction. Okay, so that's the solution is a bit slightly in error, but his answer is correct, the same as me right now. Okay, but the same, not the same unit. Okay, preparing naman siya. No, not the same value. Okay, preparing siya given pa. Okay, so yan, presentation. Okay, ganun siya. Ganun. Okay, guys, sometimes yung kung ano extraction yung kanyang type. Okay, down below in the comment section. And then you can subscribe my YT channel if you haven't subscribed yet. And then click the notification bell for some news updates. See you in your voice. God bless. We're ready. See you later. Wow. Diba? Oh.